When we think about strength, our minds usually jump to something physical, right? The ability to lift heavy things or push through a tough workout. But the strength that truly, and I mean truly, determines the quality of your life is something else entirely. It's invisible.
See, this is the kind of strength that gets you out of bed after a massive failure. It's that sense of calm that somehow remains when chaos is just erupting all around you. It's that inner voice that says keep going when every single cell in your body is screaming to just quit.
So, what if you could build a mind that literally cannot be broken? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down in this explainer. Using a framework inspired by the ancient Stoics, we're going to cover the daily practices for building profound, infinite inner strength. Because unlike physical strength, which peaks and eventually fades, this is a strength that can grow forever. Okay, so where do we even begin? The number one drain on our inner strength is fighting reality. I mean, we waste so much energy being angry that things are hard or that people are unfair or that we messed up. Real strength starts with what the Stoics called acceptance. Now, this isn't about just giving up and becoming passive. It's about strategic clarity. As the philosopher Epictetus taught us, the power isn't in the event itself, but in our response to it. That's where the magic is. So to build that strength, you have to master a core Stoic practice, and it's called the dichotomy of control. It's a really simple, but honestly, a profound idea. You just separate the entire world into two buckets: things you can control and things you can't. And this is where you have to put your energy. Immense strength comes from pouring 100% of your focus into what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, your values, and absolutely refusing to waste a single drop on everything else. All right, once you accept what you can't control, the next pillar is all about building resilience within the things you can. The problem is, our modern life is basically engineered for maximum comfort. We've got instant heat, endless entertainment, constant convenience. But here's the thing. This very comfort can make us weak. Comfort is like a sedative. It just dulls our resilience. It weakens our psychological immune system. So, if you really want immense inner strength, you have to systematically and intentionally expose yourself to discomfort. And this is the whole concept of voluntary hardship. It's about choosing to do hard things when you don't have to, so you can build the resilience to handle hard things when you must. This could be as simple as taking a cold shower, or maybe fasting for a day, or finally having that tough conversation you've been putting off. Just think of it like this. Each one of these small acts is a rep at the gym. It's a bicep curl for your willpower. You're training your subconscious mind, sending it a really clear message. I'm the kind of person who does hard things. So when a real crisis hits, you won't freeze up because you've already been training for it. Okay, listen up, because this next pillar is absolutely crucial. One of the most fragile, brittle states a person can be in is when their ego is completely tied to their success. If you define yourself by winning, then guess what? Losing absolutely destroys you. Immense inner strength requires a massive shift to what's called process orientation. And all this means is that you learn to find your value not in the final outcome, but in the effort itself. Did you show up? Did you give it 100%? Did you learn something? If you can answer yes to those questions, then the result, whether you win or lose, it just doesn't define you. Your self-worth becomes unshakable, which makes you pretty much immune to criticism and allows you to take way bigger risks. Let's talk about that voice in your head. You know the one I'm talking about. It narrates your life 24/7. But here's a question for you. Is that voice a supportive coach, or is it a toxic critic? Because for most people, if we're being honest, this voice just runs on autopilot, spewing negativity. Things like, I can't do this, or I'm so stupid, or why does this always happen to me? This inner critic just drains our strength day in and day out. So building inner strength requires some cognitive discipline. You have to literally learn how to talk to yourself differently. When you're feeling anxious, instead of thinking, I can't handle this, try reframing it. Tell yourself, this feeling is just energy. My body is getting me ready to perform. And you have to remember this. You are not your thoughts. You are the one observing them. By stepping back and consciously choosing a more empowering story, you stop being a passenger in your own mind and you get back in the driver's seat. At its core, inner strength is really just the ability to sacrifice the comfort of today for a better tomorrow. It's the simple but powerful capacity for delayed gratification.
I'm sure you've heard of the famous Stanford marshmallow experiment. It proved that the kids who could resist eating one marshmallow right now to get two later on, well, they had much better life outcomes. The principle is exactly the same for us as adults. Every time you choose the workout over the couch or savings over some splurge, you are strengthening the neural pathways of discipline in your brain. In a world of constant noise, nonstop notifications, and endless input, the ability to simply be alone with your own thoughts has become a genuine superpower. Think about it. If you can't stand being alone with yourself, you're always going to be dependent on external distractions to feel okay.
That is why building a practice of purposeful solitude is so incredibly important. These are simple but really powerful ways to do it. This is where you process your experiences, you listen to your own intuition, and you confront the parts of yourself you usually try to avoid.
Because by facing those parts of yourself in the silence, you begin to integrate them. You become whole. And that feeling of wholeness, that is the true foundation of immense strength. So, to bring it all home, building an unshakable mind isn't some final destination. It is a daily practice. It's the sum of 1,000 small choices: to accept reality, to seek out discomfort, to detach from outcomes, master your self-talk, delay gratification, and to just sit in silence. You do these things, and you will build a mind that is not just strong, but truly, truly unshakable. So I'll leave you with this one question to reflect on. Which of these pillars do you need to start working on today?